move on through harvest weather and the middle of October, a couple of trends are beginning to take shape. The heavy rains of the northern plains the last week or two are beginning to fade just a bit. It doesn't look quite so rainy. Parts of central and southern Iowa have actually begun to get quite dry at this point. Frost still kind of just spotty here and there in the forecast going through the end of September and the first week or week and a half of October. It doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of widespread frost unless some cold air comes in unexpected, which means that October is starting out with some fairly mild weather. Now, we do have some cool weather into the northern Rockies right now, rain-cooled weather mostly, and over the course of the next few days, that will begin to try to spread out into the plain states and never really make it. I mentioned the dry weather in parts of southern Iowa. A narrow little tongue of warm weather is likely to move up into that region, which would provide a little bit of extra heat in those areas that are quite dry. Most of the really warm temperatures, though, will be south of the southern branch of the jet stream, which will keep them mostly down in the southern U.S. And as a new area of low pressure begins to get carved out into the northern plains, there will be a little trace of rain-cooled air across the northern plains, and yes, there will be another chance of rain by the weekend, while the warm weather stays mostly south. Let's check that moisture, though. Showers around on Sunday will begin to move out of the area into the northern plains, bringing at least a chance of rain into parts of Iowa. The next weather system coming out midweek is going to look good at first with rain and then snow back in the Rockies, but I look for that one to kind of fall apart. Maybe some light rains, but probably nothing that substantial. Probably a little tropical or subtropical weather in the south. Hopefully that won't be hurricane-like, but there will be some rains over the southeastern states. And by the end of the week, I think most of the nation will end up being fairly dry with maybe a slight chance of some light showers across the northern plains. Second week, that really little narrow spot of cool weather should move out, and that's going to leave most of the country. Now, we're talking mid-October here. Most of the nation with just kind of mild weather, not particularly hot, not particularly cold, and not particularly wet. That second week of October, the southeast, I think, will be wet. The northwest corner, Pacific Northwest, will be rainy. Anything else will be, I think, nothing more than spotty rains. So let's check other parts of the world. There is some rainy weather ongoing in South America, rain and thunderstorms, especially over central southern Brazil. Not too much down into Argentina, but a little bit anyway. And heading over to Australia, persistent showery weather over eastern Australia. Remember, it's springtime down here. There will be a few spring thunderstorms into northern Australia. Obviously not too much of that getting into the heart of the outback. The west, the wheat country, is looking to stay mostly dry. So here's what we're looking at. Not quite so rainy, though there are a few rain chances. Not much of that real killing frost. Looks like a fairly mild start to October.